Hello everyone, this is Farhan Abid. Today we can talk about the phenomenon of light. We know what light is. Light is a common natural element that helps us to see. Because of light, we see every day. But how does it actually happen? And where does light come from? Well, let's talk about where does light come from. Light comes from like luminous objects. Luminous objects are that can create their own light and reflect those, like the sun. The sun has its own light and does not take anyone's light, but the moon is not luminous. It is a non-luminous object because it reflects the sun's light and takes it and gives it to us that feels like it has light, but it hasn't. It doesn't have. So what is light and why do we need to learn it? But how do we see? Well, actually, we see because light is reflected. Light is not only reflected on the moon, light is reflected everywhere. You, me, you, the objects that we see, my father, my mother, everyone reflects light, and that's why we see them. And why does dark and shadow happen? Dark, shadow, light, what does happen? Because you see, in this part, you can see dark part, and these are my shadows. These shadows are because it is absorbing it. Well, do you know what is absorption? Well, let's first say that what is reflection? Reflection is when an object takes light and throw it in another direction, and absorbs it when an object takes light but does not do it, and it will always look black, like the TV screen, the clock, anything that is black does not reflect light, but any other color, white, everything, they all reflect light. But how do we see, why do we see light and gray? So let's just say that light falls more on this part but rarely gets a little amount, because you see, light does not stop stagnantly. If there is no objection, it will always move forward. So when light gets reflected here, it may get reflected here and get here. Through this process, we get a little amount of light here, but when we turn it, a lot light gets it and it gets more lighted, but these parts get dark because of reflection, little power loses, and slowly but slowly it gets darker through absorption. And that absorption is like here. So let's just say a black block, nothing but a black block, and it will always take light, never return it. We cannot see its true color. Like the TV screen, it may be green, blue, nothing, but we cannot see it because it does not even reflect its light. But why don't blind people see it? Because blind people have a condition where they cannot receive light in their eyes. For this reason, they cannot see. So light is the main thing of sight, and we use it everywhere, anywhere, anytime, without even noticing. But what are the types of light? Light can be divided in two types depending on reflection. Light can be done as reflected, absorption, and refracted. Refracted means when light reflects on two objects, like this mirror. Let's say that a mirror is put at a right angle. So light goes from there to there and there, which causes refracted. And this is also a partial refracted because we go through two medias. So there are three types: reflection, absorption, and refraction. But now, what are the types of reflection? The types of reflection are two types. This is regular and irregular or diffused. So regular is the reflection that happens in shiny objects, and irregular is that happens in normal objects except shiny ones. What are shiny? Like glass, mirrors, TV screens, etc. So they always reflect light at a certain pace and put it in the right angle. How do we measure how it happens? Because light is always straight and it will make the angle and go in the same angle. Like this. This angle, let's say that it is 20 degrees. So you see it gets reflected here. So the corner produced is also 20 degrees. Let's say that this ray is 40 degrees. So this other ray will also be 40 degrees because it is the law of light to always have the correct angle. for regular reflection. But now diffuse reflection is just normal, we don't see anything, it just goes everywhere. But due to regular reflection we can see images. Like just look at the mirror, it's a shiny object, it goes through a regular reflection and we can see your image perfect, maybe not perfectly. Like when you polish a car, what do you see? Your own image, but not perfectly, because it is they have a little dent, they may be irregular, like that. But for irregular, you see maybe there was 20 here, but there might be 60. There is no there is no specifications where diffuse light can go, like it can come here and go there. For example, let's say that it is a rough surface. Maybe it may be a smooth surface, but it doesn't work if it is not a shiny surface. So the things to happen regular reflection is shiny and smooth. For irregular, it should be unsmooth, like rough, and very stagnant, not shiny. So how do we measure incidence and reflection? So what is incident reflection? Let's take another figure, and you see the light that falls on the image or the person O is the angle, is the ray of incidence, because it falls there, it incident there. We know that incident means an occasion. So this makes an occasion here, which causes another reaction, and it is called an incidence. But incidence also gets reflected because it is light. It is nothing else. It is just a light, because incidence is an occasion, but incidence of light is not an occasion. It is a phenomena, it is law of the world, so it will get reflected. So this one is reflected ray and this one is incidence ray. But how do we measure angle of incidence and angle of reflection? We have to create a normal perpendicularly to divide both 90 degrees here. You see, these are 90-degree angles. We have to divide those by making an n normal. Now we can think that here, let's say it was 20 degree, it will always be 20 degree here. So if this is 20 and 20, that means 20 minus 90 is 70. And since this is 70, this will also be 70 in a regular reflection. But it is irregular like this, nothing is same, it is very different. But for an irregular diffraction, it will be always the same in every way, like this same and these are always same. So that was all for today. We learned about three types: reflection, absorption and refraction, and reflection of two types, that is diffused and regular or irregular. So that was all for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Goodbye.